Right, so we have some deck selections here. This is going to be my first time seeing Evgeny's decks. Looks like a red with a bit of yellow. We got green red. Oh, I love green red. Good old green red, green blue as well. And then we have a multicolour deck, which is probably Rakoans of some sort, I would imagine. Maybe even Yaks. Who knows? Mono green, mono blue, mono yellow, mono reddish from Martus. Going for the monos today.
Lots of monos. Yeah, Martus. Oh, I'm trying to think now. Have we seen either of these players? I think this is the first time on stream. Let me double check.
Martus had the green rush and the blue jump.
Oh, right. We just watched Martus versus Happy Joe. Okay. But Evgeny, this is our first time seeing Evgeny. He has beaten ES of Dawn. He's beaten Bamster. He was beaten by Superb Blizzard. And now he's playing against Martus. Okay. Well then, yeah. I'm not sure what to expect from Evgeny other than... Oh, what do you think the red-yellow deck is with the 3 yellow? What are the 3 yellow cards? Oh, a Scourge Flame?
But Scourge Flame, probably. Yeah, mono reddish.
With Scourge Flame.
Maybe like mono red burn with the Scourge Flames, like you were saying. Because I can't think what else it could be.
Yeah.
Like, what... I mean, is there any one deserts? I guess it could be Wingate.
No,
playing Red Rush.
Airbot. It could be Mecha. It could be just a Mecha with Airbot, I suppose.
So, yeah. Airbot, Wingate, maybe Scourge Flame. We'll find out soon enough. And we're going to have the green-blue as could be beasts. So it's got Ancient Boar. So we could see a beast variant. It could just be kind of like a blue-green mid-range. Just put some big bodies down, have a bit of removal, a few power-ups. But blue jump coming up for Martus. And I'm going to kick things off down at the bottom here. I'm going for that defensive land. Probably going to see a land in the middle from Martus and go for that. Explore lake, get that beautiful jump spot. And there's a hunt down, so it's going to be blue-green beasts.
Yep, looks like a pretty standard blue-green beast setup. Versus this blue jump deck. It's hard to say. It's hard for me to say who would have the advantage here. I think... Well, I was going to say getting the Beru out is actually going to be a big deal versus this deck.
Yeah, so I was going to say, Beru is probably going to play a big role in Martus taking command of this game. There is Humbling Vision available. We just see it in the mulligan. So that is like a kind of an answer to it if you had the creatures to back it up. But I think the big issue Martus is going to have here is Evgeny can attack anywhere on the screen with the combat, with the fight mechanic. So he can just fight that there. He gets a 2-1. If this double collects, he can Elderwood Embrace it. You might Elderwood Embrace it preemptively to play around Sunken Temple, Sunken Tower, sorry, or play around, say, like, maybe an Emperor's Command. But he's going for the cheap boar to get that early economy. So, you know, look at that. Straight away just answers all those threats of Martus.
Yeah, make your own 5 health creature for your boar. Get the double harvesting going on.
I think one of the biggest problems Blue Jump has had historically is getting those extra stat points to finish off creatures. That's why we've seen, like, in earlier variations, we've seen Campfire being ran and Emperor's Command as well sometimes, just to get that just 1 point. Sometimes the stats don't line up, and then Blue doesn't have that option to just have that push unless they run those cards.
Small note, he deliberately put the 3/3 frog closer than the 2/2 frog. You can choose. I know the first frog you summon is going to have that Triton Trainer buff, so keep that in mind when you play these 2 cards. You have to, the order matters there. Hunt down now. It could pretty much take its pick of the litter.
Yeah, I like this. I like the boar going for the hunt down. Kills the 4/3, making the 3/3 again a little bit more awkward. There's a 2/2 just sitting there. You can actually double neutral right now and double collect and then threaten the right side. But we know there's a spider waiting to creep out of those woods and gobble him up, which is going to be a problem. And Beirut, this is what we were talking about. We want this big guy down.
Now here's
problems.
Yeah, here's Beirut. He's not in a position to kill a forest, but the stats alone are enough for now. But if he starts gobbling up some of these forests, that's really annoying. For the blue-green deck. Yeah, unfortunately, Humbling Vision is drawn at the top, so...
That's a draw indeed. He's just like, I need a Humbling Visions to answer this one threat that could tear me to pieces. Oh, look, a Humbling Visions.
Yep. And yeah, and like you're saying, it was mulliganed away at the beginning. So it's just a matter of it coming back into his hand. Turns out just in time for Beirut. Otherwise, that would have been a real problem for Evgeny for quite some time. But now
Yeah,
it's
he
just a
would have
4/5.
to just pour creatures into it until it goes away. And not to mention there are frogs kind of jumping around as well, but that's been taken care of. He doesn't decide to clear it off with the Deepwood Stalker here. He's going to go for the Shifting Octopus. Maybe it's just a 5/5, you know, he can challenge it. Beirut on its own can't clear the spider, and he's going to need to build a land if he wants to put the 3/3 into it. So a 5/5 is pretty strong.
Colossus already down to 5 cost from all his harvesting, so not too bad there. Maybe even worth playing this turn. Beirut, unfortunately, is just one off from killing either of these creatures. Could hit the 4/5 just to get its health down a little bit. Other than that, Mystic Beast can't be played unless Beirut moves out of the way. But then it's a little bit vulnerable. It's in the same position as the Beirut. It's going to be a 4/5 against these other 4/5s and 5/5s.
And it looks like Blue Jump still has the same old problems sometimes. And you just need that one attack. That one attack to do something. And again, unfortunately, not available here. The Mystic Beast, I think, is fine here as a setup. Put in a safe double collection position. And then you can maybe get the last tick on the Colossus reduction, get full value, and then start jamming them at the cost you want to get them at. So it depends how fast he wants to play here. You could just go Colossus and say, try and deal with this now. Or alternatively, you can play slower.
And Beirut, the interesting thing is, Beirut may actually destroy a forest here because he's not going to attack into the spider. So in order to kill the Beirut, Evgeny has to spend another Deepwood Stalker. Otherwise, he loses a forest. Ooh, hunt down.
Oh, unless he just draws a hunt down.
Yeah.
But then again, what do you do here? Do you hunt down the 7/7? You know, get full value from the 6/1? You could actually, well, you could actually just hunt down the Beirut. You stay alive, and then you have the potential to challenge the Colossus with the Deepwood Stalker on a +1. So that looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I guess you're going to be at 1 health, so you risk a lot of tricks. We know he has Ninja Toad, but it would either be that or Humbling Vision, you would expect, I suppose. Maybe an Emperor's Command. I don't know. I don't know what the smarter thing is to do here overall, not knowing your opponent's hand. Is it hunt downing the boar into the Colossus? Like, is that just the best answer? And then you eat the forest death and Beirut lose another turn. Or do you save the hunt down? Do you Deepwood Stalker? Do you hit... Oh no, you'd have to... Yeah, you can't do that.
He probably has to go for the full clear, hunt down onto the Beirut, then attack into the Colossus, Deepwood Stalker the Colossus. This is a little sad because the 6/1, like you said, is vulnerable to all sorts of little tricks. It also gives a lot of breathing room to Martus because 2 Deepwood Stalkers are gone now. So he could +1 Ninja Toad double collect if he wants to be a bit cheeky and get that extra Feria, or he could just Mystic Beast now and just stick the Mystic Beast down, have that stat line, but it looks like he isn't afraid of another Deepwood Stalker, so happy to take that extra economy there.
I guess I'm surprised he spent all of his... I didn't realize that's how that was going to end up, spending all the resources to make that trade. But in the end, yeah, I really like that. I think that was about as good as he could have gotten out of that situation. I think it was pretty hairy before that. And now Martus just has a Ninja Toad on board. He can make that Mystic Beast, but you have this problem again where you have these 5/5s to deal with. He'd really love to destroy that boar, so the Fugu... then the Fugu has that problem of being a 3/5. But in order to do that, he'll have to Sunken Tower.
Land, yeah, he could move the lake across, and then could jump across, clear the 6/1, and then just jam the Mystic Beast and say, hey, if you draw another beast now, I'm in trouble. Goes for the Frogify instead, just goes for the trade, and tries to safely play the Mystic Beast. So not willing to gamble on a beast draw here, and just hoping it sticks.
That surprised me also. I thought that would leave you in a better position. I don't know. I guess you can always take care of the 6/1 many different ways. But now there's a 5/5 on board back again. It turns out it was a good move because otherwise he could have rebuffed his Fugu with a second Fugu.
The problem Martus is experiencing right now is he's slowly losing his Fairy advantage. He made a Fairy advantage play with a Ninja Toad, but then he lost it on the Frogify. And now he's thrown a Tide Lord down as a 5/5. The 4 Fairy Orphan clears that, probably with an Emperor's Command, and lives to tell the tale. And again, he's slowly losing that economy advantage. And eventually, Evergenie's just going to be in again another situation where he doesn't have a combat trick in order to deal with like an extra health or an extra attack and stop this kind of like value that's being generated.
Yeah, these Emperor's Commands are gonna, just he would have loved. He was one off, he was a creature, a subtype off of having that be a 6/6. But even if it was, the Emperor's Command was still gave Evgeny the better trade there. And it's just Evgeny's just getting the better trades over and over again. And it's over time, it's not looking great. This Tide Lord, again, he'd love it to be a 6/6, but he just can't do it because he just doesn't have the Froggies out.
And the second Emperor's Command here gonna be another problem. He can even play another Ancient Boar on top of that, restock up the left side. Elderwood Embrace instead is just fine too. It's probably a little better than Emperor's Command, I think. Mainly because Emperor's Command is spot removal, so you can use it to clear those 1 life. Maybe Aurora or something later on. Does go for the boar. And there we go, just going to clear out this frog. And I'm not surprised at the scoop there. Beast was kind of doing what it does best, having those high life creatures, being able to fight creatures from across the board, take that value, take those clears, and then even when you get through the creatures that have caused all the problems with fight, they continue to stick those high life creatures down. And Blue Jump, unless you're running Campfires and Emperor's Command, you just don't have the combat tricks to deal with that extra 1 life.
And we are very, very quickly in the game too. That was...
Yeah, he's ready to fight. Blue Jump didn't work out, but now he's going to a new deck.
Yeah, snap pick there. I didn't get a chance to see when he was so confident in picking. Looks like red, just straight up... Oh, is this the red deck with...
Triple Desert.
The airbots, maybe, perhaps.
So we predict this is mech. We see Detonate now, so that kind of confirms this is some kind of variant on the mech decks. Just running that 1 desert to get those airbots. Good value. 2/2 with dash 2, get into some tricky positions for those detonates like we saw from Lizard, but also can set up great harvesters across the ocean.
Yeah, I think we might see a full legitimate mech deck. We've seen a lot of red decks with mechs in them. We've seen some funny detonate shenanigans. But this will be the first full mech deck. I'm assuming that's what this is here.
The Shifting Octopus is a bit of a slow pickup, but because he has the boar, he makes a massive tempo swing on the next turn. So just jam 2 big creatures down, probably like a 3/7 and a 4/5. And that gives red some problems to deal with. And how much damage from hand can they expend in order to answer 2 high health creatures? But with those Sunken Towers, I don't feel like they're going to do too much, apart from maybe move red creatures into weird positions where you can't maybe collect, or he has to make a land to collect, stuff like that.
Yeah, good early creatures here for Evgeny. He's able to get Octopus with a follow-up boar, holding onto a Stalker for any kind of remaining damage he needs to clear up. But going 3/7. Why not? You're dealing with a 3 health creature. Both of your creatures survive the Axe Grinder. You are playing against red though, so they'll have something to finish you off with.
So he does have clear with Garadan. Goes for the hit onto the 3/7, and then he can Garadan, and then Cypher's Wrath the boar, and that's a full clear, putting a 6/6 onto the field and retaking initiative. I feel that's his strongest play right now, because you want to have a creature down. You don't want Evgeny to be able to set up something like a hunt down beast situation. You want to make that as difficult as possible. Does spend all your Furia, gas in the tank's going to be gone. If I'm a 6/6 with charge 2 flying, it's going to be very powerful.
Yeah, this will be a scrappy matchup. Very trade centered. We're going to see a lot of battles for control of these wells here in particular. Maybe Martus might be able to sneak out an airbot to the right, and in which case, if evgeney didn't have like something like a stalker to deal with, that would be a problem. But yeah, we're gonna be focused, I think, a lot around these wells here until somebody comes out with an advantage that the other one just can't recover from. Ground shaker here, finishing up the boar, and ooh, double ground shaker even. Okay, yeah, putting the octopus within range of one hit.
So pretty confident in keeping the octopus at 5 health here. Doesn't want to go for the full clear. Doesn't want to spend the Garrett and rather get some more creatures down and allow the octopus to kind of do what it wants. Which is not too bad, really, unless he has like double power up or power up into hunt down. So like Elderwood hunt down would have been pretty devastating there. But as we can see, like the Sunken Tower is not really playing a tremendous role in this matchup yet. It's just because of how these decks fight each other. They're quite tight to one side. All the lands are kind of cluttered around each other. It's hard to make those tactical moves as a Sunken Tower.
Yeah, and he had no way to say that octopus. The only way he could have would have been to make a Sunken Tower where the Vulpine was and then move it down. But since he didn't do that, there was no room to save it. And a free octopus, basically, for Martus. And Vulpine now, it's staged for a hunt down, but it costs you your Vulpine. It does clear a ground shaker, but then, you know, he has another 5/3 one right behind it. So not a great spot for evgeney. Meanwhile, all this is going on. Double harvesting from Martus. And look, and here's that sneaky airbot going to the right. Triple harvesting now set up. Deepwood Stalker could answer that for now, but ooh, there's Therian Expedition.
Oh, okay. So we could find an answer here.
Goki's here.
It's a 2-3 2-4. I mean, in an aggro matchup, it might have been pretty good to just put that down as kind of a cost-effective card. Goes for the Gemshell Tortoise, something a bit meatier. Also may create some value off its gift ability later, making a copy of those cards at cost reduction. But right now, Martus definitely in control of this game. Gonna have to go for the Deepwood Stalker just to kind of fend off some of the economy being built by this airbot. And then he may just hunt down on the Deepwood Stalker into the Ground Shaker. So 2 for 1, well, 2 for 2 there. Not a terrible trade-off, but Martus just in so much control, especially if he picks up another creature.
Yeah, he was able to stop the double harvesting, so it's a small consolation. And he's set up to harvest. Oh, he's going back to double harvest now. Flame Burst with Ciphers takes care of evgeney's Harvester. He does have the Gem Shell, but it takes 6 land to play, so, and plus the 8 Faria, so maybe next turn for that. Otherwise, he just has no answer for anything.
Land and pass. Go for the Gem Shell next turn. Double collection for Martus on the side. Does pick up another creature. Not really the one I want to see here. Axe Grinder would be perfect. Another Bomb Slinger. They're gonna come in handy. I mean, Bomb Slinger into Detonate is a clear on the Gem Shell, and I don't think you'd complain about that.
Yeah. Really, what else is there to do? You could play your Octopus as a 7/3 to try and get lucky on the Ground Shaker, but Bomb Slingers are around, we know. I'm not sure that evgeney knows that. I'm not sure that evgeney knows this is like a mech deck. Like, there's been nothing that's really shown that so far. It's all been standard red plays. But Bomb Slingers and Detonates are here. Turns out to be a Deepwood.
Yeah. That's really good. Now, 1 Faria 2/4 clear something. If he's killing airbots, like, that's tremendous value. He actually gains a 1 Faria value from that. And like losing a Faria in some ways to the Deepwood Stalker. So that's really good for him. And, you know, a 2 Faria killer Axe Grinder is also pretty good. So that's a very good draw from the Gem Shell.
Yeah.
Ooh, setting up the Bomb Slinger there. Bomb Slinger Detonate, looking pretty tasty.
That's exactly what he's doing. Getting ready for that mountain.
Now, I'm curious to see what the follow-up is. You know, he could go Octopus 3/7 in center. That could clear out the Axe Grinder with the help of a Deepwood Stalker. Alternatively, he could stick a Fugu on the right side lake, and then that has the opportunity to kind of hop around, maybe take a trade with the 5/4, maybe pick up Elderwood Embrace and keep that Fugu there. It looks like he's going to opt for that. You know, just having that flexibility of movement could offer some good plays next turn, especially with the Sunken Tower. And we haven't seen that be relevant yet, and this could be its time.
Yeah, 13 Feria for Martus. Just hanging on to so much for... You could just make it a super explosive, like literally an explosive play with a couple bomb slingers and airbots. Evgeny, everything he has invested is what you see. Everything on the board. I guess he has some hidden value in his Deepwood Stalkers in hand, yeah. But Martus in the fairy advantage zone right now, and how is he gonna maintain that? What is he gonna spend it on? Is he gonna use his detonate now to clear this double harvesting gem shell? That might be worth it, especially if your opponent is so fairy starved.
It's such a difficult situation because he had the double land next turn to set up the bomb slinger, but that didn't give him the land he needed to set up the axe grinder. So what might have actually been better is one land up top, one land down bottom, set up the axe grinder play if he wanted to go for that. But as you're seeing, he's playing a bit more passively here on the left side, or a bit more aggressively, but not going for the clear on the right. Oh, I guess that 2 damage in as well. So it's actually really strong play because he's just dumping his Faria into a winning line next turn, going for that lethal.
Yeah, setting up lethal. That was his concern. He's like, okay, I have a Feria. No, I'm going to set up lethal. And Evgeny said, okay, that's lethal. Good job. GG. Martus ties it up, and we are 1-1.
So what's the counter pick here? So we know we got a mech deck. You may go for the green-red and just try to outstat it, especially if it's like the Salamander crack form.
Yeah, I was going to say play as much green as you can. If you have a deck with green in it, use that one. But he's going to go with red to counter red. I think it's mech versus mech. Is that what's happening? Or am I confused?
Potentially. I mean, I can't see any other reason to splash yellow, unless you're playing some kind of spicy, angry deck. You know?
It's a mech mirror. Ooh, Fragmenter, though, in Evgeny's deck. I don't think that we saw that in Martus's yet.
I'm surprised he picked the mirror here, especially like you say, you've got some green. Green red should be able to outvalue. Maybe not in the mech matchup because of detonate. They kind of get their own version of Salamander. A bit more explosive though, so maybe he's happy to just go for the mirror here, see what happens.
Yeah, and there might be slight differences. Remains to be seen in these decks. We know... Well, I think we saw from the numbers there were. But we know they both run airbots.
I feel there was a missed opportunity with land here. He could have went desert middle and then mountain, and then have the brigand to collect next turn and then dash the airbot. I mean, he gets the double collection position here, which is pretty strong, but you could have also set up another creature. So maybe he valued that more. It's like, I'll get the double collection, but just leave yourself open to that spot.
Yeah, so annoying to have an airbot harvesting on you and you don't have any way to deal with it. But it's only a matter of time. In fact, there it is. There's the Cypher's Wrath.
Did he miss a collection there? Because he could have moved, right? Yeah, he did miss the collection. So the double collection benefit of the on the right side desert actually didn't even pay off in the end. That's a little unfortunate. And then we go spot removal.
And then double punished for it. So we'll have to see if that fairy makes a difference. It honestly oftentimes does.
There's been so many games which we've casted where one fairy is the difference between winning and losing. Yeah. And it's just missing those little bits of Feria. They do add up, especially at the top level of play. Like, every player is squeezing as much Feria as they can get, playing for that value, and it does add up.
Yeah, it's really late in Russia. I'm not sure which time zone Evgeny is in, but I'm sure both players are getting fairly tired at this point.
I think it's 2+. I think it's 2 hours plus. Depends what part of Russia, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Russia's huge. I don't know, like, which part of it lives, right? I don't even know how many time zones Russia is. I feel like it should be a bunch.
Oh, the junk. So I didn't see this a lot. The junk feat, the scrap heap in a mech decks. It's one of those cards where you can get it down and it starts to. If you have a lot of mechs down, it's great. On its own, it's kind of just a bad herald. So you do need to have all those mechs to get that value.
Yep, and you know, Fragmenter, we don't often see this card, and when we do see this card, we don't often see it go crazy. Like, we don't often see a bunch of little fragments coming off. Usually get one, but it seems like getting 2 is like the goal you want to shoot for. If you get 2, then you get your it seems like you get good value from it. But even getting one sometimes can be hard because players are just really good at positioning the fragment out, like making it so a fragment can't appear, and it's a bit risky to play at six cost.
Oh, interesting. So Gyarados can just clear. It's probably not worth it at this point, unless you want to just say, you know what, I'll take Gyarados on the right side, have a double collection setup, and then you clear the Axe Grinder. But Martus is on 12 Faria. Maybe if Martus was on less Faria, maybe like 4 or 5, he may consider the Gyarados for just to get that collection going, get that big creature down, but just goes for a little airbot instead, and does the same thing without having the Blight 10 Faria.
Airbot returns. Airbot number 2, the double harvester. We'll see if he remembers to harvest, if he gets a chance to harvest, if he doesn't get flame bursted away. But if he doesn't, that's quad harvesting from evgeney. 16 Failure, though, from Martus, with a Junk Feet in hand. Bomb Slinger no detonate in hand, but there is a Flame Burst.
And as you said, they're just trying to make sure it doesn't generate those extra creatures. Like, if you can get rid of it without it hitting it, that's great. that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of tricks and everything you can do against it. So, though that time it ended up being fine. Like, they had to spend 2 cards to get rid of it. So sure, it's like a little bit of a bait there. But yeah, just off and here comes Gyarados, by the way. So bye board for Martus, but he still has 8 Fairy left. He did not invest everything he had into the board, keeping things like Gyarados in mind.
Oh, he's thinking about it though.
Well, he's investing everything. evgeney is, yeah.
He's like, who cares about Gyarados? I'll only lose both my harvesters, but I'll still have that 6/6 to beat around.
Yeah, that's a bit ballsy, to be honest. Like, knowing your opponent is in Gyarados range, knowing he runs Gyarados, and saying, yeah, sure, I'll take the hit if it happens. But turns out he's not punished for it.
It's quite a big payoff in a way because you quad collect on the follow-up, letting you to draw. And you know your opponent has to invest some cards this turn, has to spend some Fury just to get things going. And yeah, I think this worked out. It was a big risk, but now we can detonate and clear the Axe Grinder. He can clear out the Ground Shaker, continue the double collect on the right-hand side, and maybe even mount in on that neutral tile and stick a Brigand in there and start getting quad collection again. That's going to be the goal, I think. Just continue the quad collection and starve Martus out.
Yeah, I think he's considering figuring out how to make detonate work, and I suppose if you Ground Shaker and then +1 detonate, you can kill the Axe Grinder for free before you move up to harvest and then clear the other Ground Shaker. I think that's what he's considering. I don't think
double detonate's an option.
Yeah,
double detonate and just double collect.
Yeah, I'd hate to spend all my detonate. Or I hate to lose all my tools like that, though. I don't know how he looks at it. Plus, that way you'd end up with a Ground Shaker on the board if you just use the Ground Shaker. I'm not sure what he's going to do here. He could also just ignore the enemy Ground Shaker completely.
It depends what his strategy is. Does he want to push damage here and try and win quick, or does he want to control the Furia Wells? And I think if you go for that Furia Well line, you're going to detonate here, probably run into the 5/2, clear the Ground Shaker with Gyarados, just take that there. You get a Furia out of it as well, and then aggressive Brigand. That's pretty good as well, you know, representing that orb damage, but also that Furia generation from the combat ability.
Yeah, and only 5 Furia for Martus, which means if he uses a Flame Burst to clear out the Brigand, which he does, he can only play a Horse Master for collection. Yep. It is in the double harvest position, though, so kind of evened out there. There's no removal in evgeney's side, and yep, just draws a Ground Shaker. I mean, just a Ground Shaker, but it won't be able to stop the Horse Master from harvesting at least once.
Just going for the aggro Ground Shaker here, just locking out the right side with those double neutrals, so no land can be made on the right side, and all Martus has to work with is that little smidge of land on the left side, which could be very difficult for defending.
Yeah, Cannon Carrier I think is the best play here, and that's not a very good play. It does end up giving you enough to clear the Ground Shaker if your stuff survives, but we know evgeney has a detonate, and he can actually, well, he can at least clear the 4-2 off with the detonate. So
Deal 2 damage to the orb as well if he moves up. Oh, so just gonna pass here. Ground Shaker gonna finish off the Harvester. Back up his buddy there, who's gonna go for the orb. It looks pretty strong to me. He could even take a draw this turn, unless he wants to kind of harvest more Faria from the +1 and for like a bomb slinger detonate play on the follow-up. But takes a draw, takes another Ground Shaker. That's a card you want to see in this matchup. More Ground Shakers, the merrier.
He's got all 3, and that's a 2-turn clock now. On to Martus. 10 damage staring at face. If a flame burst comes up, it's a 1-turn clock. Fragmenter.
Well, he has 14 damage with detonate.
Oh, you're right.
Shakers at orb as well, so he's got lethal now.
Yeah, no, that's completely lethal right there with what he has in hand. Martus will have to block. He has to block with cannon carriers, or he loses the game.
Unless he clears a Ground Shake, I think he just loses anyway, right? Because he can't stop the attacks from going through.
Well, no, you're right. Yeah. Well, if he cannon carriers, no, you're right. He just loses. Right? Because Cypher's Wrath. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, double hit 5/5, up to 10, detonate, kaboom! I just chose the flame burst anyway. Rips a flame burst. Don't show the detonate. You got a BM here. Got to just throw the top.
Yeah. Look what I drew. Look what I drew. This is the BM play. This is the gentleman's play. Oh, gentleman's
play.
Too
much of a gentleman. I had it all along. You couldn't stop me.
I saw him finger it though. I saw him tickle it.
Oh, the temptations of flame burst, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there we have it, 2-1 with the mech mirror. So, you know, Evgeny played mechs into mechs there after the loss with his blue-green. And then he went, oh, no, I can win this matchup. That's cool. And he went for the risky airbot. No Garadan in sight. Rewarded him with extra economy and a clear on the Axe Grinder and taking the win there. So this could be potentially the final game, depending on how things go.
Yep. We'll have to defeat the mecha with Martus's... Was this a Green Rush?
Yeah, the Green Rush. Let's see if we can shine this game, because like the last time we saw Green Rush go up against Happy Joe, it didn't have that early momentum that Rush decks need. This is a little better. You know, he's got a free fall, which is a good stat line to challenge the Axe Grinder. He's got a couple of annoying yaks that come down and start taunting things up while he pushes that damage.
Yeah, if Evgeny wins this, he takes 3rd place. I gotta say, mech decks really strong to defend against any kind of aggression that comes at you. You've got lots of your deck is heavy in creatures, mid-range creatures, small creatures. So you don't need to wait very long for a red mecha deck to get going. So how easy is it going to be to deal with this Rush deck? I don't know. We'll see here in a second. Right now, Martus hasn't played a single special land, but now that he has, Sagami Warrior number 1, Sagami Warrior number 2, Emerald Yak.
Yeah, just jam all those creatures down. I mean, Garadan's not that big of a threat right now just because of that extra life. The biggest issue, I think, now is the double bomb slinger draw is so good. It's just like, yeah, I'll take care of that and have a body left over to take care of your next thing. So he can double bomb slinger here. He can actually just clear everything on around the orb and just leave the 1/1 up.
Yeah.
And still have harvesters to boot. Oh my days.
Yeah, that's pretty devastating. The 1/1s will be able to clear some of the bomb slingers when it gets closer, but not to begin with. They can just sit here on these 2 mountains, I suppose, here. One on the left, and then once he clears that space, one next to it. This will be all of Evgeny's Fairy.
Let's explode together.
So he's spending absolutely everything to do this, but of course, he's going to have the board presence that makes it worth it.
It's kind of tricky in some ways because he doesn't get to split his harvesting on each side. He has to play all the bomb slingers on the left. And as you said, he expends all his Faria, so he doesn't get the option to collect +1 Ground Shaker or just have enough Faria to Ground Shaker and follow up. So it does kind of encourage a slower turn in some ways, but he does get to play Cap 10 on the right next turn. A 3/7 against Screen Rush can be pretty devastating if they don't have the Virgin Forces down.
Yeah, these Emerald Yaks are pretty good at dealing with bomb slingers, luckily. But he has to play them on prairies, the baby yaks. So this gives Evgeny an opportunity to... I mean, he would love to play a ground shaker right now. He's just one off, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's going to be cap 10.
I mean, he doesn't even need to hit with his bomb slinger if he doesn't want to. They can just leave them there, because as long as one harvest, I think he's pretty happy with that.
Yeah, he's going to lose one. But now...
double guidance. That's pretty tasty.
Does he have the fairy for 2? Oh, he does, doesn't he? Oh, my goodness.
Installing updates.
No.
Well,
Windows crashed. He's gone.
stop updating. Stop introducing more bugs, Captain. Okay.
I don't want to restart to update now. What are you doing?
So 7-4, 7 damage next to base. Flame Burst is not what you want right now. It's not enough. You'd love to play one of these 6-cost creatures, but you're off. You don't have enough. So what do you do? Do you draw and hope? But what do you draw for? Is this just a pump up to 1 or pump up 1 fairy and pass turn? Is that what this is?
He forces land for the 1/1 to clear the bomb slinger, which is probably going to happen. But I think the devastating thing for him here is that the willow can come down, and it's 7. It represents 7.
Yeah.
Well, then again, you might Emerald Jack instead to play that around the Ground Shaker, which is probably a little better.
Yeah, because the Ground Shaker would have... I mean, it's only 2 fairy, but it definitely would have shut that down. It still can do some work here as far as... It can even clear the Emerald Yak that exists with Flame Burst, yeah. So that's actually really good.
This is a nice follow-up. Gets a Flame Burst, a 7/3. Kind of stop Martus in his tracks. But now the Ground Shaker has been expended. He gets the option to play the Haunted Willow in hopes there isn't another Ground Shaker. Not that he could play it anyway. He'll only go up to a maximum of 5 Fairy next turn. So he could just hit and pass and then maybe go for the version. But he's actually just going to lock that down and let this Yak continue to apply pressure.
I was thinking he was going to put that Haunted Willow on the right side to be away from the Ground Shaker and just gamble on the fact that he's going to get 7 damage to face and then somehow find 3 later on. Anyway, it didn't matter. Wow, he used Flame Burst on it. Okay. So we got
This is really good because now, no matter what gets played by Martus, Verdant Force probably being the scariest thing to come down. Gift of Steel is going to clear it. Now, Queen's Guard is a great pickup because it kind of plays around that Cypher's Wrath Flame Burst Gift of Steel play that could reset the board again. At least this way, if he invests in the Gift of Steel, he's going to get a fairer return, which will allow +1 Verdant Force on the following turn. So this is a great top deck. I think it's probably one of his best.
Yeah, and because of the taunt, he can't harvest before he uses Gift of Steel, so he'll be Fairy Starved. Evgeny will, if he chooses to use it to clear the Queen's Guard. So, yeah, it's actually looking not so bad for Martus.
You might have to +1 Cannon Carrier at this point. Gift of Steel just seems so bad. Because you don't gain board initiative back, you don't gain any board, you don't gain any Faria. You just clear the guy and then set up for the Verdant Force, which is where you want the Gift of Steel to go anyway. So yeah, I think Cannon Carrier is fine here. It does set up a bit more of board presence, but 10 life, it's getting chipped away, and he gets a bit of value here. He can choose how he wants to spend it. Does he cash in it on the Ground Shaker, or just take the face hit?
And also, since his Queen's Guard wasn't damaged, it allows him to play a 3-cost boar. It allows him to +1
Haunted Willow
into the Willow,
which is nice.
Oh yeah, I guess you need a +1, yeah.
Yeah, taking the value here. Now this is tricky. Like if you go left side, you force your opponent to make a choice. Do you continue to take the Faria and kill the Willow, which he didn't go for anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But he had that decision to make. This is pretty nice detonate actually. It allows him to clear the free one without taking any extra Faria.
Yeah, and he gets to harvest. Yeah, it takes the Queen's Guard, doesn't get its combat ability triggered. So spending a detonate here, not a bad idea. A little bit of extra damage on the board.
He can step, collect, Gift of Steel, clear on the right. Or alternatively, he can just move and then play a Brigand and just have that guy down, which is a bit of a nuisance. I think he's going to go for that anyway. So he kind of securing harvesting for next turn, presenting some options for Martus, kind of from the ball in his court. Like, do you want to start clearing my stuff, or do you want to start pushing face damage? You push face damage, I get the value on Gift of Steel. So yeah, nice play.
And here's that Verdant Force. Now this is you know, this is a problem. 7/7. There's no way Martus can clear this with the cards in hand.
Yeah, the 4-2 just out of position here, not going to be able to get that gift down. Could go for the draw here in order to find Horsemaster, hit into the 4-1 Horsemaster, gift of steel clear. Didn't draw it, unfortunately. It might just be another cannon carrier. Just kill off this ball, play a cannon carrier, and get that 4-2 set up closer to take care of with the gift of steel next turn. Oh, okay. No, go for another Brigand, I guess, and then go Brigand. Yeah, go double Brigand into the Verdant Force, kind of crossing the fingers for no Elder Embrace.
If he can survive this Verdant Force, if he can clear this Verdant Force and stay stable, he's got the game. The problem is, Verdant Force right now represents 7 face damage, and doing 3 more as Green Rush is actually kind of difficult with that, because you don't have any Flame Burst or anything like that. You have to play a creature as Green Rush, and then you have to wait a turn, and then you can do the damage. There are no haste cards in your deck. There's no, usually not going to run Freedom Fighter.
Boar Willow is really strong here because he can lock down one of the Brigands, protecting his Verdant Force, represent Leaf. Oh, he didn't go for the boar.
Can't do it.
See, this is tricky now because if he draws a Cypher's Wrath, he's out of the game.
That is game, isn't it? He didn't draw.
This is game now, yeah.
Yeah, he happened to not draw any kind of answer. It's just all creatures. Man, almost there's a lot of answers he could have drawn there. And yeah, I'm really surprised he didn't play that Haunted Willow, like you're saying, to lock down that mecha so that the Ancient Boar's out of range of any kind of 1 damage thing. But that's it. There's not much he can do. He's just playing out the rest, just going through the motions. Yeah, but Junk Feet comes down. He's gonna give some of his parts.
Like this card not really doing much as it has done in the past for me. Like I've noticed it in most cases it's a bad Mace Man. They cost lands, and then once again didn't have the time and it needed to be fully utilized, and tying up the games 2-2. Green Rush, maybe the savior for Martus. It was the end of him in the finals, but maybe he'll take 3rd place. But he's going to go up against Green Red. That could be tricky. You know, lots of power ups in Green Red.
Yeah, Green Rush being the last deck in the finals for Martus, and versus now Green Red Crackthorn historically is very, very good against Rush. You have a lot of. I mean, I thought the Mecha would have been great against Rush, but Green Red is I would say even better against Rush. So I don't know how this is going to play out. It all depends on how Martus does his opener here.
Another Fragmenter? Is this Green Red Mechs?
I don't know. We have not seen this deck yet. So yeah, Fragmenters with Salamanders.
Oh man, this could be a devastating hand to deal with if he draws another creature, because he's got double Shrine. He can go like land Sagami Warrior and then like Virgin Force, Shrine, Virgin Force. Like those kind of options are coming up depending on his next draw. And we're gonna have these like little Brigands come down. They're gonna try and collect some Feria, but Virgin Force is gonna be a nightmare to do.
Yeah, he's got his Brigands up for early defense, but just like last game, we're gonna see Warrior pop out. Oh, but just one Warrior though. Just only able to play 1 with this opener. Last time he dumped like 3 green units right off the bat. He's gonna have to wait 1 turn for his Verdant Force. 2 Shrines in hand, so not a great start for Martus.
Yeah, it's so tricky because now he either just throws the Brigand away, just lets it die, and collects, or he has to make the land in the middle to run both of them in. I actually preferred that, and you just kill that with the 2 Brigands, get a little Feria back, play the Fragmenter, and set up for a double power-up on the follow-up play. But he decides to go for the economy, and now this could play right into Martus's hands, because we know he can just drop everything. Gets to clear, double Shrine, go into Guard, go into Virgin Force. What are you going to do about it?
Yep, double Shrine, and it's going to be a while before evgeny's going to be able to touch him. So that's free 4 Feria, putting Marcus at 14. Yeah, Verdant Force is cheap. You could play Queen's Guard as well.
You probably double shrine Queen's Guard into Guidance. Potentially Guidance on the Queen's Guard to push it to 8. 8's actually a really good number because power-ups go in 2s. So you have like we see here, Elderwood Embrace and Tiki Caretaker. That's not going to be enough without the Brigand to clear the guard, and you gain additional value from the combat. So I really like Shrine to Guidance on the guard because it creates so much protection, but he doesn't go for it, unfortunately.
Yeah, holds back on the guidance. Meanwhile, Evgeny has lots of buffs. In fact, well, no, he can't play every card. But yeah, Tiki Caretaker and Elderwood, so he can make a huge Fragmenter. Whether or not that matters too much when we've got 10 here. Well, yeah, then actually, he could still get 2 hits out of it.
Got the Rakoan Copter option as well to clear the 3-2, and that stops a collection. It depends how relevant he thinks that's going to be playing against this rush. If you want to make the read that there's like more Queen's Guards and Version Forces coming up, that might be the correct line to go for, just to get a bit of Feria Starve in. We know it's a cheap hand, so he may want to, if he makes that read as well, it's a cheaper hand, he may want to go for the clear, because he's got the best opportunity. He can go for the guidance, so the numbers from the power-ups actually matter now. He actually gets the relevant stats he needs to clear it up. Oh, this is even better. He gets to put it on the Brigand and get additional value. Oh, move the Fragmenter into the Rakoan Copter. That's interesting.
That I did not expect. Man, Fragmenter just does not get to fragment.
I like Tiki Caretaker in some ways, just because you get to clear this for nice and clean. You'll probably get more Feria back from the Brigand if the Virgin Force goes into it, which it probably won't. He'll go face if he wants to win the game. It can't really backpedal here for value. And then you keep the Rakoan Copter in hand for a much stronger play later, where you maybe hit 1 or 2 things.
This is match point. It is 2-2. The winner of this wins 3rd place in the Khalim Seasonal Cup. 9 damage, 11 left for Evgeny. It's well, it's still a 2-turn clock. There's no buffs in hand for Martus. And not that Evgeny knows that or not. Tiki Caretaker is not enough to clear the Verdant Force, so 9 damage coming again to face. Next turn, that's super, super scary to be at 2 health the rest of the game. Of course, he might have heals in here. But boy, this is when you're biting your knuckles, because 1 buff away from winning the game is Martus. Does not draw one. Is he going to go for the draw? If he goes for the draw, he won't be able to play the Feral Kodama.
Yeah, I mean, you can high roll for the win here, but I probably feel like just well, this is I would have probably played the Feral Kodama last turn just to have that threat down, push more damage. But now I think you definitely go for it. You just play Emerald Jack. You start locking some awkward positions up with Taunt. Like, you can Taunt up the 3-4. You can play the Feral Kodama, push that 9, and then everything's tasty. You're probably going to win the game.
Evgeny said well played, expecting him to have the damage, but he doesn't. He has 2 health left. And there's a Salamander.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so...
the land positioning is a bit off.
Yeah, and the Kodama with jump, I think, is the problem here. I think it's going to be hard to block the Kodama from hitting your face. You can clear everything but the Kodama. And then you have to have something...
You need the Salamander to hit the Taunt and do other things as well. And because of the land positioning, you can't quite... I mean, you can build the land and hit the Fragmenter as well, but... Yeah,
you can't clear everything,
so
you're right.
difficult.
Yeah, oh my god, there's just so many ways where it's almost... You can almost do it, but he can't. He just can't make the land in the right place. He can't have the creature in the right place. I think he has to... Ooh, does he draw? That's terrible if he does.
Yeah, you have to draw at this point.
It's a caretaker. Again. That's not going to help.
Where's the play? You can double down Salamander and Caretaker.
He has to have something in this spot or he loses.
Yeah. the special... So that's the Explore, right? Your turn to explore. And unfortunately, it's come back to haunt him. Just a positioning of it. There.
I feel like there was a way. I feel like there might have been a way to survive there. I'm really surprised evgeney lost this, by the way. But I feel like there might have been a way to survive there as like a puzzle. Maybe a move I didn't see or we didn't see. I don't know, though. I think that was pretty solidly Martus's game. Well played.
There were two issues. There was the Tiki Caretaker wasn't in a position where it could move, maybe gain a power up and then hit something. It was behind a creature that was taunted. So that's what made things so difficult, I think. Just not being able to use the Tiki Caretaker to clear the taunt first and then re-establish the position in there for a good salamander payoff. But yeah, good games there to Marta, showing that the Green Rush can do work in the competitive scene there, taking a 3-2 and coming back there. Green Rush, it didn't do very well against Happy Joe, but against evgeney, did fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely a different kind of rush style to play. It's not, it's very control oriented even, I would say. Because, yeah, you can't lose board control because once you do, you have no way to damage the orb, and that's how you win. But impressive to watch it win 2 games in a row like that, especially against decks that I thought were favored against Rush. But Green is not your typical Rush, always. So, well played. Let's look at the brackets. That was it. That was, once again, that was our 3rd place match because one of our finals players had to go soon, so we wanted to show that before our 3rd place match. So it's actually the last game of the evening. But that was the 3rd place match right here. Martus taking it 3-2. Germany beating Russia. Germany does redeem themselves after Lizard lost to Happy Joe. Not to, nothing. Lizard did well. Lizard played very well. But Germany does win the 3rd place match. Korea, with Happy Joe, taking the grand finals. Here are the brackets. You can also see them in the description for the stream, or type !! brackets to see those. But these are our top 4 players for the day. Happy Joe and Super Lizard you see a lot. evgeney and Martus, not really so much in seasonal cups, but here you go. 3rd place, they're there. Well done. Thank you to all of our players today for being super patient and just running things smoothly, really, by themselves as we casted. Thank you, Nick Aquablad Secker, for coming here. It's been a while. It's always a pleasure to cast with you.
Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, anytime. We were going to have Scorch. I think he had some problems, but hopefully he'll be back next time. It's always good to come back in the Seasonal Cups. Okay, so that is it for the Khalim Seasonal Cup of 2019. There is 1 season left in 2019. Can you believe it already? I can't believe I'm saying those words. But it's the season of Cypher. It's already happening. It's already going on right now. Cypher closes out the year. There will be a tournament, an open tournament next Saturday. You can join that, start earning points, start playing in this tournament. Looking at FWC points, actually, I'm going to look at the top 4, like in comparison to like how many points they had versus how they finished. Let's take a look at that real quick, which I have off to the side here. So, actually, why don't I just open? Yeah, let's do it this way. We'll see what place they were. Sorry, this is off screen, but it'll pay off in a second. Okay, so Lizard was actually number 4. He was ranked number 4. Happy Joe was ranked number 3. evgeney was ranked number 1. And Martus was ranked 16. So of the top 4, 3 of them were already in the top 4 in FWC points. So it goes to show you, like, whoever's playing the most, who's ever winning the most in the season, usually finishes toward the top. That's really funny how that worked out. Okay. But that's about all we have for you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you. No eggs today. Sorry again. They're all broken. They're all broken. There's yolks all over the place. And this is because of all the work we're doing for consoles to work on how the accounts work behind the scenes. It just kind of discombobulated the eggs the way they get distributed. So automatically giving them out doesn't work and even hatching them. But we'll get that fixed. And another season is here. We'll close out 2019 in a big way. And thank you again for watching. That's it. Have a good rest of your day. Make sure to follow the channel so you can see whenever we do go live for special events. And good night.
Bye, guys. Take care.